I spent the last week solo in Lisbon, Portugal as a 19-year-old girl, and I've gotten a lot of questions about how I started solo traveling and how to know if you're ready for solo traveling. I think not everyone is ready for solo traveling, and this is not me being on my high horse. I genuinely did struggle at some points in this trip. It was very fun, but I think for sure travel days can be very draining. So here are some of the requirements I think that there is to be able to tell if you are ready for solo travel. This one's pretty basic, but I think you should be 18 plus. Solo traveling as a minor is just really complicated. It's going to be really hard to check in to live to places. If you have emergencies, I just find it very inconvenient, especially if you're in a foreign country. I'd recommend maybe doing solo trips domestically as a minor if you really want to and your parents are supportive of it, but logistics are just very difficult. And this is a sad one because definitely when I was a minor, I was very free-spirited and wanted to do solo travel. You need to be able to spend the equal duration of your trip in a foreign city, foreign country, alone in your home city. If you cannot be by yourself in your hometown, then what makes you think that you can be yourself in a really uncomfortable setting? So make sure that you are comfortable with yourself and alone time. Definitely when you spend a lot of time alone and start thinking, it's easy to start spiraling if introspection and time alone is not something that you're comfortable or familiar with. You have money for the trip and emergency money to cover anything that may go wrong on your trip. It's so more important to have an emergency fund. Like maybe you lose your phone, miss your flight, or get injured and it won't be fully covered by insurance, or have parents that are 100% willing to cover you financially. I think this is a tough part about not just solo travel, but travel in general that people don't take into consideration. Really, regardless of how responsible you are, sometimes injuries happen, things that are unexpected, and you never want to be in a situation where you can't afford to fly back home. So I think it is perfectly fine and not anything to be ashamed of if solo travel is not something that you can comfortably afford. Definitely prioritize your safety. It's very important that you are someone who can currently stay relatively calm and composed when bad things happen or just like disruptions. I don't think that this is something you're naturally born with and can't acquire on your own. I think through time and maturing and being in situations where there are unexpected situations that happen and growing from those. But when you're really stressed or in panic mode, it's very hard to make logical decisions that are the best for your survival. So just make sure you know what could potentially go wrong and have an action plan for how you would react in those scenarios. So I think making sure that your mental health is at a positive point before leaving the country or before leaving your city is so important. Which kind of leads into my next point, your mental health is good. Solo traveling isn't relaxing most of the time because you have to look out for your own safety heavily. So you may not reap the same relaxation compared to a holiday with family or friends. When you're alone, your safety and your belongings are your sole responsibility. When you're traveling with family or friends and you're really tired, for instance, you can just take a nap and your family can look over your stuff. But when you are solo traveling, your survival is in your own hands, and that's something definitely not to be taken lightly. And especially as a woman, just being prepared for situations where you might not be able to defend yourself on your own. I hope this video was helpful if you are considering solo traveling. It's not to discourage anyone, but just to prepare people for things that I wish I knew before I went on my trip. Bon viagem!